Hey, what's going on, good people? It's your boy James Harris, founder of Mental Heal, author of Man Just Express Himself. Listen, I just want to tell you guys thank you so much for the love that you continue to show me on the movement, the book, and of course now this new YouTube channel. You guys definitely did your thing with liking, sharing, subscribing. Make sure you continue to do that. I definitely appreciate you. I didn't anticipate it to grow as rapidly as it did, but we are here. So with that being said, I will be introducing a new segment that I'll be interviewing different men throughout the community as well as in different places. And I wanted to do this so you guys can not only just hear my voice and the lessons that I provide for you guys on different knowledge and subject, but I thought it would be an interesting way for other men to tell their story of resilience and their road to their wellness journey. So we're going to be talking in these interviews about mental health, physical health, relationships, substance use recovery, early detection, different societal norms, relationships, athletes and mental health, maybe politics and mental health, and the stressors that's coming from that. And also masculinity. We might dive into that as well. So it's so many amazing men who have reached out that are open to tell their story. So, I'm gonna put something together, man. One Tuesday out of the month. I think it'll be interesting for you guys to hear that dynamic. So be willing and open to listen. I hope you guys continue to like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you do that. Make sure you also get the book. Go support. With that being said, the guest that I got coming up is.
Hello, people. My name is Emeka Naka. I reside in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Man, I'm first. I'm gonna say, James, thank you for bringing me on. I'm honored to be a part of Men to Heal. I love the movement, and just being a man that's gone through different struggles and you know mental health and everything being a part. I think that this platform is an amazing thing, and I'm ready. Let's jump into it.
Yeah, man.
I'll start a little bit of my background. So I am 32. Like I said, I live in Tulsa, but I am from Georgia by way of Washington, D.C. Um, I will go ahead and put out there that I am a quadriplegic. I use a wheelchair, a motorized wheelchair to get around. And sometimes like, for instance, you're going to see me back up. Let me go ahead and do it right now. I'm gonna back up and lean back just to, adjust my blood pressure. Ain't nothing wrong. It's just a part of it's a part of it. Uh, coming in. You still got me?
Still rocking, bro. That's a lot
All
of
right.
resilience you got there, man. That's pretty much, to be honest with you. Um, Besides you being, on your track to get licensed as a mental health professional, I just figured your story of resilience was an amazing one. So, I know a little bit of it, but I want you to be able to tell the people because there's so many people that oftentimes give up, or don't know that they still can accomplish things in spite of adversity. So, go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you, man, but go ahead and finish telling your story. I
Yeah.
know you had to get
Oh,
that out the way.
getting that blood pressure about to get to you. So let me say it like this. I grew up in Georgia, and I was a kid that, I just had my own issues. Like, I hung around the wrong crowd. I didn't care about school. Um, Honestly, yeah, I was just trying to figure it out. And my mom, my dad, but like, well, I'll say this: when I was younger, I ended up living in Nigeria because I got in some trouble, and I'm Nigerian, so I've got African parents, and in the African American household, true African American household, there is a legend, an urban legend that if you act up, then you get sent back home, home being the motherland. And I realized that this urban legend ain't so urbanly and it ain't so legendary because I acted up, got put on probation for some stuff, And I found myself on a plane to Nigeria when I was 13. Ended up living there for 2.5 years, came back, was living in Georgia, and then I was going to high school. And like anybody getting out of high school, it's like, all right, they tell you that the American dream is get into high school, get your degree, go to college, get another degree, get a job, get a wife, make a life, happily ever after, right? And for a lot of you guys out there, I mean, all of us know that, we write down a plan for how life is going to go. Life rips it back up and then throws it in our face and says, like, now do something with it. And so I graduated. My mom and my dad really wanted me to move out to come out to Oklahoma because there was a school here that they really wanted me to go to. And I really wasn't about it. Tried to avoid it at all costs. And definitely just came down to a decision of like, look, am I going to stay here and still get caught up in all the stuff that I was getting caught up in, or am I going to go and give myself a chance at a new start? And so I was like, all right, let's do it. Moved out here, and the first year of school just wasn't going good. I'm talking about racked up some expensive Fs, like private university, not going to class, not really focused, just partying.
What was your major?
My major when I got here was business administration. It really should have been business management, but it was business administration. Uh, the next year that I was here, I transferred to a community college where I ended up racking up some cheaper Fs. Things just weren't going good. And then I got this opportunity. A guy that I met had asked me about sports. And before that, I had been an athlete. I played football back home. And I've been wanting to play more football. I just didn't think I could do it at this school because they didn't have a sports team. And so he told me that a friend of his was setting up a semi-pro team that I should try out. Tried out, made the team. And for me, in this moment in my life, it was that for I'll explain it like this. For anybody out there that has been that kid in the family, the black sheep, the one that, you the can't get right kid, this is the moment that you're waiting for, is like this new opportunity to show your family like, yo, no, don't sleep on me. I still, like, I got something left in the tank. Like, this is my new opportunity to make my sisters proud, my mom and dad proud, because it really wasn't education that was my way of doing it. And so here I am, I'm playing ball, and we win a championship that first year. Things are going great. I'm still caught up in a lot of craziness here. And football is a fast life in its own regard. And so next year, we're ready to repeat, and I'm now getting some calls to go to different schools, and it's like, oh, okay, this is my opportunity, the shot. I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to I'm going to be more focused because I'm going to be playing football, and that's going to be it. I get a call from a school in Missouri, and they want me to come there. And I was like, oh, yes, that's where I'm going. And 3 weeks after I get this call, I'm playing in a game, and really I'm just playing these games to just get more footage for more film. And I go down, I make this tackle on kickoff, and it's crack. He goes down, I go down, he gets up, and I just can't move. Something just doesn't feel right. And so trainers are running out, and I can hear them screaming back and forth. I think it's C5, I think it's C6. I'm trying to take my helmet off, can't take my helmet off. And I remember them asking me all these questions like, hey, like, do you know where you are? You know what time it is? And I was completely this. Like, look, it's 7:45, second quarter. We're up big. I just made the play, and I'm there. They go to lift up my leg, and I'm looking at my foot, and this guy is holding it up, and it's like, okay, that's my foot, ankle, shin, knee, thigh. Yeah, that's mine, but I can't feel it. And that was already that was surreal in its own regard. Fast forward, ambulance gets there, they get me to the stretcher, and I'm now in this stadium where got all these people that were once ruckus and super loud, and now like you can cut through the silence like with a knife. And I've watched sports my entire life, so I'm trying to let them know, yo, I'm gonna be all right. Thumbs up, wave. Couldn't do it. And I get into the ambulance. I'm just like, yo, what is happening right now? They rush me to the hospital. Hospital's where I find out C5, C6, the level in which I just broken my neck. And with that devastating diagnosis, it's like the day is over. It's like my career is over, and now I'm like wondering, is my life over too? And honestly, when I go back to that time in the hospital, I spent 10 days in ICU. I went the next day. I underwent a 9-hour neck surgery. They put a metal cage from C4 to C8, and I began this process of rehabilitation. So 10 days in ICU, came back to Tulsa, spent 3 months in intensive rehabilitation, and to be honest, in that time, like that time really was hard, very hard. Like, I mean, like being in the hospital for that amount of time is not easy. Being that young and being in the hospital, not being able to get up, like tough. But I almost had it in my head that while I'm in the hospital, I'm going to give everything I got, just like two-a-days. And when I get out of the hospital, my life will be back to normal. And so for me, the light at the end of the tunnel was getting out of the hospital. 1 month goes by, 2 months goes by, 3 months goes by, and a doctor comes into my room and tells me that they've drawn up my discharge papers and that I'm released to go back to my life. Only problem is that I'm 21 years old, and this ain't the life that I've known for 21 years. I'm supposed to walk out of this hospital, not be wheeled out of it. And so a lot of people think that my life changed on that football field, when in all reality, my life changed when they released me, because at this point, it just became real. Like, one way or another, while I was in the hospital, I was living in a nightmare that I thought I was going to wake up from in a couple months. To find myself in this position in which, oh no, you awake, and now what you going to do? Bro, I can't, like, I can only tell you that kind of weight was just so heavy. Like, because at the one point it's like, this is not happening. I know this ain't happening. And then it's like, all right, if this is happening, what can I do to reverse it? I think we've talked about stages of grief and loss. And
you probably experienced some depression within that as well, right?
oh man, I went through the whole gamut, because I'll tell you what, what's crazy is that when you're in it, you don't know it. And even when people tell you, it still don't make sense. It's just like if you've given anybody any kind of type of like relationship advice, it's easy to see when you're out of it, but when you're in it, your emotions are there. And so even when people are telling me like, oh, you're experiencing denial. No, I'm not. Like, I'm telling you, I'm walking out of this hospital. Then it turns into anger. And it's like, hey, like you're angry because you don't, things are changing. No, I'm just angry. I'm mad at the world. I'm mad at myself. And then it's the bargaining. God, like, man, I won't drink again if you let me walk up out of this hospital. God, I won't whistle at another girl. I won't run through another red light. Like, I'll take every stop. Like, I'll stop at every yellow light if you just let me walk out of this hospital. Nights where I'm stacking up all of my good deeds against all of my bad deeds and trying to see which one outweighs what. And then, I get depression. And depression settled in right around the time I got out of the hospital, because at least at the hospital, there's all these different supports. A machine start beeping, and I don't know what's going on. A nurse can come in real quick, A doctor can come in real quick and tell me what's going on. I wake up every morning and go to physical therapy. At night, I do occupational therapy. They got me on a routine. And then I get released. And it's like, all right, this is your life now. I don't know how to live life with disability.
Yeah.
And so now I don't know what to do with myself. I once heard, and I think I got this from a movie, but I heard depression defined as an inability to construct the future. And when you get in that moment where your circumstances are clouding you so much to where you can't even see the next minute, you can't see the next day, the next hour. I found myself in that moment where it was just like, yo, like I don't, what do I want to do? I don't know what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how I'm gonna get through today. God forbid, something stopped happening and I got no nurse and no doctor around to tell me what's going on. It's me and my dad. And those subsequent months following my release, when I say the hardest, darkest months of my entire life, I mean 7 months strong of just like sitting in it. Because I'm an extreme extrovert, love people. And in the beginning, it was like, my story had caught in wind and people were visiting the hospital, strangers, people I'd met once before, people bringing food, and it's like, all right, okay, news camera, news, everybody coming up. I'm sneaking in my dogs, I'm flirting with all my nurses. I'm like, okay, this ain't so bad. Get out the hospital, and the thing is that in that moment, everyone's life stopped with my injury. My family, my mom, my dad, my sisters, my friends, teammates. And after 3, 4 months, people got to go back to school. People go back to work. And here I am stuck, watching everyone around me live their lives while I feel like I'm losing mine.
So before you go on, though, I heard you summarize how pretty much the stages of grief were able to impact you. You mentioned four of them. You didn't get to acceptance yet. And for anybody watching and listening, don't know those stages. It's a video also on my YouTube page with the stages of grief. But he pretty much just broke down four of them. So we're about to get to the acceptance stage potentially, because it sounds like you started adapting. And if I'm not mistaken, I seen you like on Ellen show or something like that.
Yeah.
So that adjustment, pretty much everybody else around you went back to that normal life. You had to get it back into your routine or try to at
Start
least
figuring out
develop.
new room.
Yeah. So we got the stages of grief. You expressed how you was angry, you was in denial, you started bargaining, you had a depression state. So please feel free to like, share, subscribe so you can continue to listen to the story as well as go back and get those stages of grief on the previous videos. But go ahead, man. I'm interested to hear the rest of it.
Yeah. Y'all make sure y'all check it out. I hope you're able to put a link there so they can see the other video. But man, I'm at 7 months. I'm like just trying to figure it out, and it is hard because everything that I value has been pulled away from me. If you had asked me before my injury, I would have told you I was, Mecca, I'm life of the party. I got people, I got girls, I got friends, I got, sports, I'm 6'5", 250. And now none of that. And got to a very lonely place. And it's lonely. There's a level of loneliness when you look in the mirror and you don't even find a friend in the mirror. Like that's extreme lonely. And I just felt that way because I had gotten away from, the life that I was living. I had gotten away from how my mom and dad raised me. So now I'm like, I'm not trying to go back to that. Like, I don't know where I'm trying to go moving forward. And so now I'm just kind of lost. I'm in this corner of uncertainty, bewilderedness, and it's just hard. And 10 months in, a friend of mine that he would come and hang out. He had invited me to come and he worked at a youth group. So he invited me to come and hang out with him at work.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, all right, let me get out of my, let me get out of my house and get out of my head. So I take a bus up there, and he worked with these kids, and kids are crazy, man, because they don't hold back questions. And so, here I am in a place where I'm not even comfortable in my own skin, and kids are coming up, hey, like, what happened? I got hurt. Why'd you do that? I mean, I wasn't trying to do that. Then little younger kids, hey, are you a robot? um, no. Like, what's that thing you sitting in? Oh, it's a wheelchair. And what I found was that being around these kids kind of helped me. It chiseled me down, and also once I started to have relationships, I started to realize that I was able to give it back and pour into them out of my life experience, and found purpose, to be honest. And in a place where I was struggling to find a reason to live, I found this in young people where it was like, you know what? By if I give my life to other people, then it takes my attention off of everything that's happening to me. That's why I'm a big advocate for volunteering, and just because the world is bigger than just our world. And so I began to show up, daily, and um, hang out, talk to kids. At that same time, I started going to a gym here that was made specifically for people with disabilities. It's called the Center for Individuals with Physical Challenges. And I started to work out and get back to being a little bit more physical. And those two things, I think, were parallel to my starting to become okay.
Mm-hmm.
But let me say to this, for anyone that is familiar with the stages of grief, those stages are not necessarily linear. It doesn't necessarily happen from left to right, because you can find yourself in denial and think you're at a place at acceptance, or you might start bargaining before you get angry, and then once bargaining don't work, then anger set in, and then denial, and like it can really, it's like that whack-a-mole game. And even when you find yourself to a place where you've accepted, like circumstances, it's life is still hard, because it's, again, like I said, it's whack-a-mole, because I found myself in a place where, all right, I'm starting to accept, okay, this is, my life. Like, how do I start to build? And then I start watching football again, and that first player gets tackled that gets up a little gingerly, and it's like, oh, like, dang, do I miss it? I'm concerned. It's a little traumatic. One day I tell you what, a couple years had gone by, and I'm still volunteering with this youth group. And one of my kids had broken his femur, and we're all in the gym. He's in his manual chair. I'm behind him, and I'm looking at this kid with this cast and his leg up, watching all these kids play. And in that moment, like, a sudden sadness just kind of came over me, because I was like, man, is that what I look like in my world right now, where everyone is kind of playing and participating, and I'm kind of just on the sideline because of my circumstances? And so, I mean, I'll tell you what, just working there, working out, I looked at my situation and kind of made a decision that I was going to be better than where I was at, and decided I was going to go back to school. And I had been like leading small groups with these kids and feeling like, okay, like there's more, my life ain't over. And so I had gotten enrolled in my undergrad, went back to school for undergrad. People, let me tell you, hardest thing I've ever done, because like I told you before, academia is not my strong suit. Failed, statistics 3 times, failed humanities 3 times, failed college algebra 3 times, failed English 3. I don't know why 3 is the number, but think about all the money that I wasted going to school. And so now here I am, like, all right, I'm about to do this thing again. And the first couple of classes that I got to take, English, math, humanities, statistics. But this time was different because I had a goal, and I had, it was like, all right, I'm not playing with life no more. And so I ended up getting my undergrad, went to school for my master's in counseling. So I ended up getting my master's in human relations with a focus in clinical mental health counseling. And I'm currently working as a counselor and under supervision to get my license, like my man James. And I'll tell you what, the one thing about life is that it's like a boxing match. And I think a lot of times we think that once life gives us that one haymaker that, all right, cool, I ate that. Like, you're good. The fight is over. And it's not like that at all. Like, with life, you're in a boxing match and there's no referee. And so just because I took one haymaker doesn't mean that life wasn't really loading up with another one, because, again, I'm fast forwarding to 2018 where I've graduated with my master's degree. It hands down the greatest night of my entire life because of everything that was at my back and everything that was in my front. The resistance that I had and the support that I had made this night everything. And so 2018 is supposed to be the best year ever for me. I'm known in my community because I've been doing so much community work. I've got my accessible van, so I'm driving on my own. I just graduated. I'm speaking. I'm traveling. It's best year yet. 3 months after my graduation, I'm driving home from work, driving a little bit too fast, take a turn, hit a curb, bust up my tire, van out of commission. 2 weeks later, hear news that my van is like totaled, and that my van was named Savannah, but she's dead and gone. That was devastating because I sit in a wheelchair that weighs 450 pounds. I can't transport this thing without a van. And so after 5 years of driving, now I'm back on the public transportation. I'm back on the bus. You would think that that's enough, right? So then I told you, I crashed my van. 2 weeks after that, they let me know this totaled. That same week, my dad calls me and tells me that he's fallen and he's broken his ankle. The reason why this is a big deal is because my dad is my primary caregiver. So he's responsible for me getting up and out of bed. Because of him, I'm able to do all the things I was able to do. Falls, breaks his ankle, out of commission. I've got no van, so I can't even go to the hospital where he's at. So I'm having my neighbors take care of him. When he finally came back home, like, he's in his room with his leg kicked up. I come in off the bus, and we roll into his room, and I'm looking at him, and he looking at me like he needs something. I'm looking at him like I need something. I'm like, man, we out of luck. Like, So my mom flies in from Georgia to come and help her boys, and 2 weeks after that, you would think, I done took the haymaker, I done took the jab. 2 weeks after that, my mom calls me to tell me that my apartment complex is on fire. And I turn on the news to watch my apartment complex in a heap of flames. And there's the uppercut. And life was really back trying to knock me out again. And I just remember that that night being in the hotel, I just told myself, I was like, man, you know what? I've been through some hard things before. I'm going to get through this time too. And that was my disposition. I wasn't going to come on. I wasn't like, that was the hill that I was ready to die on. Like, I'm going to get through this. And so the next day, I remember a news channel came and interviewed me because, again, I'm pretty known in Tulsa. And so they're like, oh, community advocate, apartment's on fire. What can you tell us? And I was like, look, the place of life and the place of death look very similar. When I plant a seed in the ground, I got to cover it with dirt. When someone dies and we bury them, I cover them with dirt. The question that I got to ask myself right now that I'm being covered with all this dirt happening in my life is, am I being planted or am I being buried? And the hill that I was ready to die on was like, all right, life, you don't even know what you like. I'm growing. Like we gonna grow through this. We're not only gonna go through it, we're gonna grow through it. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be like a champ and get on that bus. I'm gonna ride in this chair. I'm gonna figure it out. People had started writing into the Ellen show, and it got to them. Someone called, one of my friends from Georgia calls me and is like, hey, Ellen show just reached out to me, and I'm like, stop. Like, no, straight up. They just asked me a bunch of questions that I couldn't answer about you. But here, call this number. So I called this number and it's like, hey, this is so-and-so the Ellen show. Please leave a message after the beep. And I'm kind of stuck. I'm like, my name, what's my name? So I was like, all right. So I'm holding on to the, like, are you satisfied with your message? All right, three. I'm done. I'm not like erase and re-record. Hey, this is Ameka Naka. Too strong, Mecca. 3. Like, hello. This is 3. Finally, after about 11 times, I leave one and leave a good one. Hey, this is Emeka Naka. Got a message. I'm reaching back out. Here's my number. It was on a Friday. And I'm looking at my phone all weekend long. Because we're like, what you doing this weekend? I'm watching my phone. They ended up getting back in contact with me, and it's like, and they were just talking to me about everything that had gone on. They asked me about the fire, and they were intrigued with what I was doing in the community with the kids. So they're like, all right, you know what? We want to do something with all the work that you're doing in the community. Show us a place that needs to be renovated, and we're going to, our team's going to start working on that. And I was trying not to be selfish because I work at a youth shelter with kids, homeless kids, and they're like, tell you a place that needs to be renovated. My house, like in my apartment, I need this. A month goes by of them talking back and forth, and they're like, all right, we love what you do at the shelter. They're like, hey, can we fly you out to record your story, and then we'll send a team back with you to record the city and put it together for our Ellen 2. So I'm like, all right, bet. When you want to do this? This is October 20. It's like October 25th, and I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, surely it's probably going to be around December. I say, how's Tuesday? I'm like, it's a Friday. I'm like, Tuesday? Like this Tuesday? Yeah. And I was like, man, what if I can't make it? I'm like, look, we're going to try. We saw your GoFundMe. I mean, if I were like try to make it, we're going to get this out as soon as possible. So I tell my friend, they fly us out. And again, the entire time that we're in the studio, they're telling me and my friends like, yo, like the show don't even record until later. And I had no reason to not believe them at the time. I don't know nothing about Hollywood. And they're giving me this tour, and they surprise me on there. Ellen, I get interviewed by Ellen. Cheerios gives me $100,000, and it was just crazy. I mean, I remember I really just blacked out because I see the video and I know that it happened, but it's not like there's like this full bank memory of what happened because there's like so much adrenaline happening. And so I remember just right at the end of it, I'm like, what just happened? What just happened? They come back there, ends up the audience had won tickets to 12 days of giveaways. So then they brought us back in December. And then I got interviewed again. I ended up using the money to buy a new van. And then surely enough, it's crazy. When I got back, Habitat for Humanity had reached out to me about doing a project about, building an accessible house. And they did that. And I'm sitting in my house now that's built for me. And it's crazy because it's October, what's today's date?
Today, like the 7th.
The 7th, right? So October 2 years ago, I've got no car, no home, and my dad is in a wheelchair. To fast forward 2 years later to be in a place where I got my house, I got my new car, I'm thriving, and I always go back to was I planted or buried? And I honestly just feel like, again, I grew through it, and I'm still even in this moment, trying to just figure out how to get more fruit off of my tree that I can use to help other people.
Man, that definitely was a touching story, man. And after you were, I guess, hit with those gut punches so much, that was like a, a pause in the fight for you to come back even stronger with
Yeah.
what she was able to contribute to you, for you contributing to not only the community but just having the tenacity to continue to carry on even though all that adversity happened to you. So today, man, where are you today? I know you finished school, you still doing the community thing. What's up? What else you got going on?
So, man, again, life don't stop because again, COVID hit, and we've all been struggling this year. 2020 has been a rough one for a lot of us, and I'll tell you what, it. If I'm to be honest, this year has been rough, and I've got done with my degree. I've been working as a therapist, and I travel. Like I speaking is what I enjoy doing. I enjoy speaking and coaching and helping people just get through their stuff. When COVID shut down everything, I can't do large crowds. Everything shut down, and that was tough for me. Now I'm back in this place where I can't see people. I'm in a compromised category. So me and my dad are, because he's got diabetes, and I'm literally I can't risk having a respiratory thing. And it's made this season very hard because it's not only can I not do the things that I was usually doing and things that filled my cup, but it's like everything that I do, there is this wave of anxiety that like, yo, I gotta like, now I'm thinking about the next 4 or 5 days. Like I was in a wedding this weekend and there's like pre-COVID Mecca and COVID Mecca. COVID Mecca ain't really been doing too much. Like wearing my mask, stay away from the crowds, but it's my boy and I'm not trying to be the Debbie Downer thing. So I'm gonna double up on my mask. N95, on my other joint. We on the dance floor, had a good time. People coming up like, yo, you don't let anything stop you. I'm like, look, I don't. I'm gonna hit the dance floor on my feet. I'm hitting on my wheels. I'm gonna hit it. I'm just gonna hit it. Then Bruno come on, I'm out there. And I got done and got back home, and it's just like, yo, now I got the anxiety of like, now I don't know, like I gotta wait 7 days, and once 7 days clears, and I don't cough, it's like, like, and that's been heavy going through this time, and just trying to figure myself out again, man. Because I'll tell you what, it's akin to that first time that I got out of the hospital, went through this moment where I kind of didn't know who I was, and at that moment, I really had this philosophy of say yes to everything, and so I was doing everything just to again get away from being at home alone. And then I got so busy doing all these things. I'm just hamster on the wheel, and everything stops. And so now it's like, all right, what do you really want to do? Um, and how do I execute on that? And how do I overcome? Like now, there are these different weaknesses that I have that external structure helped me corral. So the discipline, like, but if I'm at school, I can do my therapy there and kids come, they go. I don't gotta work on like a super tight schedule. With my speaking, it was like, I love to travel. And so you fly me out, y'all got the schedule, I do it. But now it's like my weaknesses, which is like organization and things like that, it's like now I have to do all these things. And I don't have the thing of going out and being around people to fill my tank. This right here fills my tank. And so but it's like now I'm working on bringing that balance back to where I'm moving into what it is that I want to do, and just getting through this season again.
Nice. Man, listen, your testimony, your life story, your journey, all of that is definitely important and vital to who you are and who you're going to continue to grow into. So definitely appreciate you, man. Feel free to like, share, subscribe. And I'm also going to put this information at the end of this, so in case anybody want to reach out to you for more engagements and
Yeah.
or donate and contribute to you, because you do so much for the community, people where you are, and of course you probably can use those things yourself. So, uh, what's your information, man? Just give it to the
So
people.
I'll say this, and I really didn't get into what I usually talk about because, like, I'm all about my whole brand is live beyond the labels of your circumstances. We all, right now we're all labeled with COVID and labeled with quarantine and labeled, we just got to find a way to live beyond those labels. And so, like, if you go to livebeyondlabels.com, it'll redirect to amekanaka.com. I've got a YouTube channel called From Where I Sit. I haven't posted in a while, but I'm trying to get back to it. And I'm working on doing something just like this, where I'm working on starting a podcast that I'll link everything back to my website, so that I can have more conversations about just life and just the things, how to overcome our daily struggles, our weekly struggles, and our life struggles. I love what you do, man. I really, your IG is one of my favorite follows right now. And I'm loving all the information and the content that you provide. I've been my Instagram is Ameka Naka or at Ameka Naka, and it'll all get spelled out. But I've had a little hiatus from my IG posting because I'm just trying to get to niche down to exactly what it is that I want to talk about or who I want to talk to. But honestly, it's probably been more anxiety that just kind of kicks in and just gets me slow. But I feel like I got juice today. So yeah, y'all gonna see a couple of things from me coming up.
No, hey man, that's dope. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get all your information. I'm gonna put it at the end of this, so people can definitely go and check you out, man. But your IG is already dope, man. I definitely like the content. You doing your thing on there, man. Mine's is pretty much specifically just me being authentic in who I am. So I
Right.
definitely try to promote healing and pretty much my life, the journeys, the whatever I'm feeling to express. It's not a certain category of what a therapist is supposed to do or what a black man is supposed to do. Like I put out what I want to put out, and people just happen to gravitate to it. Hey man, so I'm gonna let you go, but before I do, man, you've overcome, let's see, adjustment disorder from going back and forth to Africa. Of course, being confined to the chair, you went through the stages of grief. Set in a little bit of depression, but now you're here. So if you can give people 2 to 3 reasons on why resiliency is so important, what would it be?
I'll say this for anyone listening that wants to know about bouncing back, understand that we are all capable of it. If you look at a flat basketball, just because it's flat doesn't mean that it's not capable of having some bounce back to it. It just got to get some air put back into it. And so for a lot of us, life is really squeezes us and gets us deflated. And we're judging ourselves based on being squeezed instead of being full. When you go through something, the one thing that I'll tell anyone going through something is like, one, it's okay. Like it really is okay. A lot of times we end up, it's not necessarily our circumstances that are the problem, is what we feel about our circumstances that contribute way worse than our actual circumstances. My problem wasn't necessarily, you know, being in a wheelchair. My problem was that I was looking at the life that I was living before and couldn't make the two make sense. And so it wasn't until I just sat in it, it was like, okay, it's okay. Like the way I think life is supposed to go, I need to let go of what I think it's supposed to be. It wasn't until I was able to let go and just be, and that healing truly started to happen. And so if you're going out there going through something, understand that you are capable of bouncing back. Don't judge yourself based on being flat. Judge yourself based on getting full. And the second that you let go and just continue to be, that's when your healing starts.
Man, definitely, man. I definitely appreciate you, bro. I'm definitely gonna put all your information in it at the end of this, and probably throughout this. Your story is amazing. Please feel free to go to his page and also like, share, and subscribe his page, which I also put on here. I put his websites on here as well as his social media handles. Um, But you have an amazing story of resilience. So to anybody that's listening, the 2 videos are on here. We do have the stages of grief on here, and I do have a resiliency video as well. If you're unfamiliar or just want to enhance some of your knowledge on those 2 things. But hey, boss, appreciate you, man. Keep up the good work. We definitely gonna continue to rock, man. Good
Oh,
luck on that.
absolutely.
Good luck on that licensing journey
Oh
too,
yeah,
man.
absolutely. You know what? COVID did give me a break because I had to take my test this year, but they pushed me back to 2023. So I'm gonna jump on. I'm not gonna wait till then. But I've been listening to them Howard Rosenthal tapes. Oh, he's so
Oh,
good, man.
Rosenthal. Oh, yeah, man. That's where it's at. I got that. Did you get the purple book?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. But hey, man, appreciate you, bro. Good to see
All
you,
right, my
and
guy.
definitely appreciate you, man.
All right, man. I'll catch you on IG.
Yeah.
All right.